A very old Stuart S50 steam plant. This is part 21, painting the metal base and making the superheater piping. As shown in the previous episode, first of all, I rubbed down the surface of the steel plate and then I used some etching primer. 24 hours later, it's time to apply the top coat. The paint I'm using is HMG Satin Black. This is an enamel paint in an aerosol can. It may look like I'm applying too much, but I'm not really. I'm just making sure it's all covered. The problem is now, though, I can't do anything in the outer part of the workshop until the paint dries. So I'll go to the inner part of the workshop and show how I clean up the outer rims of the wheels on my small steam locomotive. Health and safety notice: please keep your fingers away from the moving parts on a steam locomotive at all times. I'm pressing some Scotch-Brite against the rim of the wheel using a piece of wood, and I'm running the engine on compressed air. As the wheels rotate, they're automatically cleaned by the Scotch-Brite. First the rear wheel and now the front wheel. This is going a good bit faster because the compressor's pumped up a little bit since the last clip. That's one side completed. All I need to do now is turn the engine round and do the other side. This is not the other side. I didn't bother showing it on camera. Just for a bit of fun, I'm running the engine. You will notice that the engine rocks about quite a lot. There's nothing wrong with it. I mentioned it in a previous video. It just has very soft suspension. And over the years, it's never fallen off the track. Because the suspension is soft, it follows the track very closely, but it does bob up and down a little bit. Rolling roads are really useful things to have. The four wheels on this locomotive are supported by 8 ball racers on the rolling road units. As locomotives rely on the wheels on the track and the weight of the train to provide all of the kinetic energy required for smooth running, they don't run quite so smoothly at low speed on a rolling road. Recently, my friend Alex Carnes from the USA and myself visited Bancroft Mill to see the Bancroft Mill engine. I was asking what type of lubricating oil they used on the bearings, and Tony Nixon, one of the members of staff, gave me a milk bottle full of it. And in this clip, I'm filling the oil can that he used for lubricating oil with it. He also told me what it's called and where to get some more. I'll cover that in another episode. This is how I fill the oil can that holds the steam oil. Here it is coming out of the tap, very slowly as usual, and it ends up in the oil can that I use for steam oil. Even though the cans are different sizes, I have some duplicates of these oil cans, so I thought it was a good idea to write on what's in them. The paint is still drying, so I need to find some jobs to do so I can make this episode, and the jobs mustn't make any dust. I'm going to test the gas burner on the bench. I'll put it on a tobacco tin lid so it doesn't burn the bench. When I first saw this burner, I was thinking, well, it's a bit on the small side, but believe me, the amount of heat it puts out is ridiculous. And it has the proper type of ceramic, the type that doesn't cremate. I think I'll ask my friend Bob Brocklehurst where he bought this gas burner from. I haven't seen any online for some time, or at least not like this one. It's going to be perfect for the job. Here are some other parts to be fitted to the steam plant. You've seen the hand pump before. And there's also a PM Research whistle, I don't know where I'm going to put that, and 2 Stuart Models displacement lubricators, one is new and one is used. This boiler has an external superheater. Later models of this style of boiler were made by Stuart, and the superheater design on the Stuart 500 series is better than this. This boiler uses a length of pipe that goes down underneath the boiler and back up the other side through a hole. And I can't fit it without removing the boiler. So it's time to take off the front plate. Then I'll be able to route the copper pipe underneath the boiler where it's required. It just sits over the flame, and the heat of the flame dries the steam inside the pipe. It's only a single element superheater. But it is a superheater as it passes through the flame directly. I've paused the video at this stage to show that underneath this boiler there are 5 water tubes. On the later Stuart design, the centre tube is a superheater, which picks up the steam from the highest point inside the boiler. The centre pipe then exits the boiler and goes back in straight up to the bush, which is the main steam outlet on the boiler. But this boiler uses the earlier system. As you can see, there's a notch in one side and a hole in the other side of the casing. And it proved to be more tricky than I first thought it would be to get this in the right position under the boiler. Patience is a virtue, and I did get there in the end. Before fitting the boiler back into the casing, there are 2 things that I need to do. One is to silver solder a pipe union on the end of this pipe sticking out of the top. And the other thing is some painting. I need to paint the front of the boiler black as it was originally. And for this I'm using some Humbrol Satin Black, which should dry slightly less glossy than this. I found it surprisingly difficult to get full coverage and had to go over a couple of areas that I'd missed entirely. Anyway, I got there in the end. In this part of the clip you can clearly see that I've missed some bits, so I was constantly monitoring this and I got them all in the end. It was particularly difficult painting around the lettering. Too much paint filled the cavities in the lettering, so the B just looked like a blob. But I think I got it right in the end. I was being very careful not to put any black paint onto the rest of the part, and you do need a steady hand for this. As I'm painting down the side, I do notice there are one or two bits that I definitely have missed, so before I finished I rotated the part several times to get it from all angles, and finally the black painted part really was painted black, and now I can't do anything else until this paint's dried. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website. Click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you will find it very easy to find other videos that you may like to watch.